So, a bit of an intro here. Yesterday was the last day for cleanup. They took everything this morning. I did go out last night. I did get some, tons of, like, really, really old Christmas lights. And it was kind of probably a bad idea because it took me probably an hour to cut all the Christmas light parts off. And, if you were even just the slightly bit less than careful with them, they were like miniature hand grenades. So that was and at least it added some spice to my day. Now, on top of that, the most important thing I found, actually, this might be sad, but I found. Don't freak out. It's a baby dove. It's it's too young to fly, but it's too old to like me. so, it's one of its parents got hit by a car, and its other one was flying around. This one, I caught it in a shoebox, carried it home. This is a cage I had from when I tried to save a robin. The robin died, obviously. It should only be like 5 days, and it should be able to fly. And then I'm just gonna let it loose. But it would be kind of cool. I named it Ludens. Don't know why. Before anybody says anything, here's my thought process. All right, I found it on the sidewalk. If I left it, there's 100% chance that it's either going to get eaten by a cat or ran over by a car. I brought it back to my house. I have a nice cage for it. I gave it some food, gave it some water. If it dies, at least I'm giving it that 20% chance of survival. Where it was 100%, 2 days max, it would have been dead. So, and if anybody has anything to say about it, I did this because I figured it's 20% chance is better than 0% chance. And I will talk more about it. I'm getting ready to go take a hike, I think. And we'll talk more about it when I get out on the trail. Alright. So I did in fact decide to take a walk. And good news is it cooled off quite a bit. I think it had to have been over 80 today. Like in the sun, probably not like overall, but like if you were in the sun, it was probably over 80. So, yeah. I'm glad to be out. I'm glad to not be sitting in my room, playing freaking video games. Gotta try to do this as much as I can before it does start to be 90, 95 degrees out, because I ain't gonna want to do anything until, it's almost nighttime, and that limits my distance and terrain. Bad news is there's probably like 6 people back here on quads and dirt bikes. It's fine and all. I just don't like filming when other people are around. I think I might have to find a new trail until the fresh release of summer wears off. Go somewhere where there's even less people. So I'm going to talk about some stuff. Then maybe we'll get into some more sad stuff. But let's start with the less sad stuff. So, cleanup ended. Cleanup ended yesterday. I probably got $10 worth of copper wire, insulated. I'll have to either decide what's worth stripping and what isn't worth stripping. I went grocery shopping. Let's stick to one thing at a time. All the stuff they had out during cleanup, a ton of vacuum cleaners. And I like taking them apart. I like getting the motors out of them. But if I didn't gather them early in the year, and I didn't gather them early cleanup, and I didn't want to gather them late cleanup, because by the time I walked every street in my town, it was already about 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I didn't want to bring a bunch of vacuum cleaners back to the house, try to take them apart before cleanup ended, so I could throw away all the parts. And I know I could have just threw a bunch of them in a trash bag, and the trash people would have took them, but it makes me feel like a jerk. So I just didn't want to. So this year I pretty much just clipped cords. I did find a nice piece of brass from a toilet. I was a little iffy about taking it because it was from somebody's toilet, but I figured it came out of an abandoned building, so I figured no one used that toilet for a very, very, very long time. So, and I would imagine at that point I'd probably be at just as much risk, opening the bathroom door at a public restroom and just taking that piece of brass. Brass is a high copper content, and copper is antibacterial, for anyone wondering. Is it bulletproof? Foolproof? No, I don't think so. But it has very high antibacterial properties. That's why some places make copper doorknobs, because it's a high traffic area, and and brass doorknobs and stuff. Interesting piece of knowledge for the day. I found notable things besides probably easily 50 vacuum cleaners or steam cleaners. I found one air conditioner. I wanted to bring it back, but the Freon in them, it's illegal to just dump that into the atmosphere, I think. And I didn't know that last time. I don't think I videotaped it, but I did open one up before, and I recently heard that it's probably illegal to dump that into the atmosphere, so I just didn't even want to mess with it. Although there is a decent amount of copper. It just, for me to carry a 30-pound, 40-pound air conditioner 2 blocks to only be able to take, a small portion of it out, just wasn't worth it. I found a dehumidifier, which I never tore one of those apart before, and I was strongly considering taking it back and ripping it apart, but I ultimately decided against it because of ripping all the Christmas lights apart. I wanted to do that before the night ended, and it just didn't seem like, I don't know. Part of me wanted to do it because I never ripped one apart before. I kind of wanted to see what I'd be dealing with for future endeavors, but if there's going to be a future endeavor, I can capitalize on that. What else? What else did I see? People have been setting up little, shelters out here. They're nothing elaborate. I wouldn't even really call them nice. But somebody's been... That's the second one I've seen. It's kind of cool. Just kind of weird how I never see anybody at them. They don't build themselves. And that one's moderately nice. I mean, it's just a tarp. But, I mean, it looks like they dug out some of the hillside. They did dig out some of the hillside. Let's go take a look. This is new from the last time I was up here, which was probably a week ago or so. Some rope. Rusted out barrel for a burn pit. Where's the drug paraphernalia? It's probably some kid. There's probably no drug paraphernalia. But it wouldn't completely surprise me either. Not here. Now what do we got here? Dinner. I don't know what that is. I really couldn't even really take a guess. Some sort of pasta. Some metal bits. Well, like I said, it's cool. It's nothing fantastic, but it's cool. At least somebody's doing something besides sitting around playing video games. Well, I guess, I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to get to the depressing stuff yet. No point in getting to the depressing stuff. That's decent rope. So, pretty much clean up when it's followed. So I got a few fistfuls of electrical insulated cord. I mean, the biggest reason I do this is for exercise anyway. So, getting a payoff is nice, but it's not really it's not like, you know, be all end all of the whole thing. We got that one piece of brass, and the Ludens, the dove. I think he's gonna be all right. And I'm not sure if it's a boy or a girl, but you know, I don't know I don't know the identifying markers of a dove. I like to believe I know quite a bit about the wilderness and quite a bit about animals and stuff, but when you get to the small trivial things, you know, it starts to, my knowledge starts to show. And I'm not sure what I want to do with it when it is able to fly. If I just want to take it out in the backyard, let it go. If I want to bring it up here, let it go. Or if I want to take it back where I found it, let it go. I'm pretty sure doves like to run in pairs. I think that's where the two turtle doves things came from. I think it's not just like a nursery rhyme or a Christmas song. It's actual wild dove behavior. They do the whole pair thing. I think they I don't know what it's called. I don't think it's called imprinting. It's kind of like what penguins do. They find one mate, and that's their mate for life. Anyways, so I'm not sure if I want to set it back where I found it at, so it could live out with its one remaining parent, if that would work, or if I want to take it somewhere like out here. I mean, well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It's got to survive first. So yeah. Now I think those people on the quads and stuff went back, and I was thinking about going back and seeing if the eagles were there before the trees got super dense. But if they're back there, I think I'll skip it. Said not the greatest people person in the world anymore. Some obvious reasons, some of my own shortcomings, I guess. Flaws intensified from years of growing up. Anyways, next order of business. What was the next order of business? I went shopping. So, I know, I've been saying, like, I don't know what I'm going to spend the money on. I don't know what I'm going to spend the money on. If I'm going to save it. If I'm going to try to do something good with it. I couldn't think of anything. And then I finally decided to go grocery shopping after a long time. And I told you that the beard trimmer that I had, I lost the pieces to. So I bought one that was like $20. And I bought the bolts I needed to start building my wire stripper. But Walmart doesn't have like a lot of hardware, so yeah, I couldn't get all the parts I need, so I have to go and either talk to somebody or go to like Lowe's or something. I really only need one other thing, I think, but we'll it's another one of those things. Cross the bridge when we get to it, you know. I bought something else too. Oh, I restocked on fish food. I only have one fish. And I still have like half a container, and it's kind of like your standard container. Like, if you would think of a standard fish food container, that's kind of like 2 ounces or something. It's like, not the smallest one, but not like the ungodly huge, I have a pond and I feed my fish in the backyard with this kind of size either. Fish food's like surprisingly expensive. Like, I kind of expected fish food to just be kind of like, you know, a lot of like really junky stuff. Maybe like whatever's left over from cat food. Like, they take whatever's left over from people food to make cat food. Whatever's left over from the cat food, they make the fish food. Like, that's kind of what I expected. But like 2 ounces of fish food was like $4. I'm like, yeah, I kind of need it. So it's whatever, and it lasts. I mean, I probably had that fish for like almost 2 years now. So it lasts for a long time. So, I'm not too upset about it. It was just slightly surprising. Overall, I think I spent about $30. I think it was money well spent. The part for the thing was like $1. So, it is what it is. So I plan that to be a project, eventually. But I definitely need at least one more part I gotta find a way to fix the blade in one spot. And that's a bit of a challenge. And I gotta find a way to get the clippy thing attached to the thingy-ma-doo. And that's a challenge too. I don't know what else. I don't know what else. We talk about my neighbor, I guess. Well, which one, right? So the neighbor up the road, right? So I told you that I think I kind of know why I'm here now, right? I didn't really elaborate. I don't really want to elaborate. I feel that if I don't say it out loud, it'll make it less true. Or maybe it's just like paranoid. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. Probably not. So far, I've been right about just about everything. So yeah. Slightly concerning. But, as I may have mentioned, I used to chat with the neighbors. Now, why did I do this? Because it's human nature. No one wants to be alone forever. So I was chatting with the neighbors. My immediate neighbor has been my neighbor for as long as I've been alive. Not like technically, but like he's lived in that house for his entire life. So that's that. And then the neighbor next to him, he has lived there his entire life as far as I've been alive. So as long back as I knew, he lived there. Then on the other side of me, there was several people that lived there. They tore down an old abandoned house, which used to be one of my, I would call him one of my more closer high school friends. And then the next house over was somebody that didn't like my father, and they moved away. And the house sat empty for a little while. And somebody else took it over, and so on and so forth. It's actually kind of like abandoned again, because the people that bought it, I went to school with. I'm, I think, a year older than them. A year older than they are, and they're buying a house, and I'm living with good old Granny. Depressing, but they're gonna, and this is even better. They're just gonna let it go. They're just letting it go. Like they're not living there anymore. One of them told me they're gonna sell it. Another neighbor said they're gonna let it go up for bankruptcy. I don't know who to believe. Don't really matter much as long as I don't get another piece of garbage neighbor. And then the neighbors across the street, I got two fairly old ladies, another old lady. Actually, they're pretty much all old ladies. On the other side of the street and on around, they're pretty much all old ladies. Well, before I give you my entire town layout, let me get to the meat of the situation. So I was talking to the neighbors above me, the neighbors on the street up from me, the other way, on the top of the backyard, the opposite direction of what I was just talking about. The ones I say about being a baby farm. And I was talking to the other neighbor. She's physically completely unattractive, but she is fun to talk to because she doesn't look it. Like I would have thought she was like 40 or 50. I would have thought she was 40, but she said she's the same age as me. And we talked about music a decent amount, and how some stuff about the town and whatnot. But then her other neighbor, which I was kind of all right about, it was whatever. She exists, I exist, and we're both friends with the same neighbor, so occasionally we would cross paths. But she started saying really bad things about me. Like, she found out I was on probation, and she said she looked me up, and she was like, I know what you are. She kept trying to guess what I did. She went from like murder, drug dealer, to some other fairly bad stuff. Like, I took it as a joke for a while until it got to like a sexual thing, and it was a few weeks of insults, and then it started getting like sexual crimes, and I was like, you know what? I have enough people talking crap about me. I don't need it anymore, so I just never went back up. Well, the other neighbor, the one that I am one that I kind of consider, talking to, and kind of almost kind of consider sort of maybe a friend. I don't, no, that's ridiculous. Closest thing to my age that I could talk to, I guess. And her daughter was like, "Why don't you come up anymore?" I'm like, "It's just not a good idea, I'm not physically interested in anyone up there." And baby duck, well, baby-ish, I'm not really physically interested in anyone up there. Not like, of age. And as far as the kids are concerned, they're not old enough to be really good at sports. And, like, at this stage, I can keep up with them. And I like having the competition. I like, throwing the football, running around, playing tag, whatever. So, we'd go up there and we'd chill out and stuff. So, I would, once in a while, we'd, throw the football, dodgeball, or whatever. And it's kind of good, because, when I see, like, my nephews and stuff, I pretty much do the same thing. I try to teach them cool things that I know and play sports and whatnot. But, they're at that stage where they're not old enough to be good enough to beat me. And it's not much of a challenge, and I always gotta hold back. And by the time they're old enough to actually be competition, I'll be too old. So, probably. I mean, I don't know. Probably. So I pretty much have nothing to gain from really going up there. I wanted to go up and explain. I wanted to go and be like, listen, it's just not a good idea, I don't want to sound like a jerk. But how often do you see me with friends? How often do you see me with anybody? You know why that is? Because small towns cause drama, small towns cause pain, gossip, and having friends just increases that chance. So, like what her neighbor did, I'm just not interested in it. And on top of that, I don't like what's going on around here. I see enough of what's going on up there to make some educated guesses of what might be happening. And I don't want to be I want to try to refrain from taking the blame for anything that may go wrong in their little scheme. So I kind of feel that I don't want to be used as a scapegoat again. So I don't want to be around it. And not talking to them means, no gossip, less gossip. I mean, I guess I gotta give her some props, because she did say it right to my face. I guess if I could have stopped her, I mean, if I could have talked to her and been like, listen, it's not important what I did. It's none of your business. Well, actually, that's pretty much what I said. I was like, it doesn't matter what I did. It's none of your business. I gave you no reason to distrust me. I gave you no reason to say anything bad about me. And you're just pretty much personifying exactly what I hate about small towns. And I don't want to be anywhere near it. And I kind of feel bad. Oh, look, there's a tiny nest. I kind of feel bad because I did kind of like two of the girls and the one boy were pretty entertaining. Like, it was kind of cool having people that were, well, interesting to talk to, but weren't complete morons like half you kids. It's hard to really say. It's hard to really put it into words. It's like you have kind of like stages and eras, and certain stages and eras link up to make a completely horrible freaking person. And then other stages and eras link up to make somebody that's, could actually be something important as a person someday. So, like, you have the people that run around screaming sus and yeet and, acting like a complete idiot. And you have people that, know how to have a semi-intelligent conversation and have interests in actual things instead of just being another copycat of somebody else. And that's kind of like, it's kind of conflicting because, the kids will see me on the street and they'll wave to me and stuff, and I don't know how to react to that because I'm like, I don't want to. Hang on. I was checking the time because I don't want this to break into 2 clips because it's always a pain. I don't want to act like a jerk to them because it's not their fault. Their parents are victims of this society. But I don't want to lead on that I want to, talk or anything because then, well, for one, it's the same reason I distance myself from my nephews. I don't know how long I'm going to be around. I don't know what's going to happen. There's no point in having something like, there's no relationship to really be had there. And if there ever was, you never know when it's going to get taken away. I'm not important enough to be, it's better that I'm just that guy that, I'm just that guy that used to, play sports every once in a while. Just that guy that, carried the kid around on his shoulders at an amusement park for a day. That way, there's no real attachment. Hopefully fond memories and not too many bad rumors. But no real attachment. Yeah, like everything's so freaking different. I've been really kind of down the last week. And I don't know how to fix it. I've been walking, thinking that if I walk long enough, I'll feel better. But it hasn't really been working. And drinking hasn't really been solving any problems. Which, they tell you that, drinking. Jeez, I am gonna slip down here sooner or later. Eventually, it's gonna happen. Every time I walk down this section, I always slide somewhere. And, hang on, I'm gonna start a new clip because... What was I saying? Oh yeah, that's right. I got distracted by almost dying. I don't know. People were saying, I had a quote. I was going to discuss a couple of quotes, but then it completely slipped my mind. So I'm just not going to. Like everything else I do. I was gonna, but then I just ain't. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, okay, so drinking never solves anything. And that's questionable, Drinking is a stress reliever, and when used in the right atmosphere, sometimes it can help. There are times that walking and drinking helps me think about things in a different way than I would if I wasn't drinking. I think it's all in moderation. And it's making sure you're not drinking trash. If you're drinking decent stuff and it's in moderation, it's actually not that bad for you. I did have a quote prepared, and I was actually going to talk about it. I completely slipped my mind. Oh well. This is just another basically waste time video anyway. The reason I came out here today was, for one, it's going on about 5 o'clock, and the sun's going down, so it's not like blistering hot. And it's been kind of overcast all day, so it's been kind of like drizzling off and on. And I thought it'd be kind of refreshing. I took Ludens into my room so it didn't get rained on and drowned. And was like, I'm just gonna go for a walk. I made stuffed pork chops, bacon wrapped stuffed pork chops today. That was pretty good. I usually put her on stuffing duty, making stuffing. Oh God. And then I stuff the pork chops and then wrap them in bacon and bake them. They turned out pretty good. The bacon was a bit stringy, but they were pretty good. I will be more than happy to devour at least one more of those tonight. I'm waiting for them to pop out of one of these trails. They're not too far away, the dirt bikers. I'm really trying not to run into anybody right now. Because I've just been in kind of a bad mood. I went to the bar to play pool a couple of nights ago. I think it was not yesterday, but the day before. And I actually drank a fairly decent amount. I had 2 rums and cokes there, and I drank 3 beer at the house. So I was fairly toasty. And I was talking to a person or two there. Actually, I didn't really recognize too many people that was there that time. But I got pooped on by a bird earlier in the day, and that made a different bird, not the baby bird. A bird flew over and actually pooped on me. Like, what are the odds? And it made an interesting conversation piece. So I'm talking a little bit, try to unwind, but it just reminds me how fake everything is. Alright, I'm going to go for a little bit. They're getting closer. Yeah, it's really hard to explain, you know? Really hard to talk about. What I think the best way for me to put it is kind of like I'm already in prison. It's kind of like I'm already locked up. And the easiest way to describe my outlook on things is I'm just trying to do my time and hope that someday it actually ends. I don't understand enough to make a difference. I think that might be brass. That might be brass as well. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think actually, I'm pretty positive, but I don't have wrenches, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Plus, it's down where I usually don't mess with stuff. I'm just kind of wandering around, looking. You know, I say I don't like to take things from places like this, and I usually don't. But and sometimes it's just like, well, there it is. It's been there for 100 years. Might as well. Like, here's all those engines I was talking about. I think that's probably $300. But that's literally no way at all of me moving these. And I would imagine that if they went missing, somebody would miss them. Not entirely sure who. And I'm not sure how long it would take them to notice. But I'm sure that if they went missing, they would be missed eventually. Then again, maybe not. Maybe not. Here's more brass, I would bet. It's probably another welding hose line. If I had to guess, a lot of those. Like if I actually cut the ends off of every one, I'd probably have a decent amount of brass. I think I walked back here before. I'm in a bit of a different area. This is where the house, somebody brought like a part of a house or a part of a shed and dumped it here. And there's nothing of particular interest. There are some wires, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I did see some wires. But nothing like dig through and move all this wood and stuff to dig it out. Kind of important. Like there's this stuff. And I'd be 100% sure that it's copper core. Aluminum window frames. But aluminum ain't worth it to me. And to move all that for that bit of copper, like I don't think that would be worth it either. Yeah, like it's pretty in there. Maybe someday. Like here's a piece of copper here. But maybe someday, not today. Today's not really about this. I did this all day yesterday. And like I said, I don't particularly like take it from down here. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't think they're ever gonna miss it. But it's another thing that I complain about people that break rules in places I like to go, because then, you know, they end up posting it up and bringing legal repercussions for people being down in those areas. So I try not to be a hypocrite. In a lot of ways I am a hypocrite. I just can't help it. But at least I try. It's kind of like the parent, the father of a daughter you're trying to date. You know, most of the time by their standards, you'll never be a man. But in reality, by their standards, they would never be a man either. I always kind of wanted to say that. I always kind of wanted to say that to somebody. I knew this guy. I dated his daughter. And I was like, I always wanted to say, like, you know, by your standards, I don't even think you'd be a man. I thought better of it. Oh, that's freaking heavy. Thought I could just kick it over. It's starting to rain. This is going to be a long video, and I'm posting the whole freaking thing because I don't really care anymore. You know, this is pretty much the best I can do, I guess. Like, in reality, this is the most entertaining thing I can really do. Like, with what I have at my disposal. That's kind of sad when you say it out loud. And I guess I probably really shouldn't talk about my neighbors now that my brother knows. I have a YouTube channel where my brother actually, at least my brother's kids, I think, are watching my YouTube channel. And if you're watching this, you know, sorry, but you could be kind of a troublemaker sometimes. Like, I don't believe anything I say is wrong, but I don't want to hear repercussions because somebody can't handle the truth. I think one of the main reasons I talk about people in town, well, besides the fact that I have no life anymore, like my life has been robbed from me, I expect them to never know about it. Like I said, I don't say anything that isn't true. At least it's starting to rain harder. I might be going. I was still about 2 miles away. I don't mind getting wet, but I didn't bring the waterproof camera thingy. So, we'll see. Like, from my observations of what I see between my brother, my grandmother, the neighbors, the people I associate with, I don't say anything that I don't wholeheartedly believe. Like, you know, I see it with my own 2 eyes. Or 4 eyes, because I have glasses. No, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't necessarily mean it to offend, unless you've offended me first. And as I said before, if I say something and it offends you, you should probably think why. Like, why would that offend me? Because it's probably the truth. Kind of like, and I got to thinking about it too. Kind of like when they kept calling me an alcoholic. I got offended, not right away, and I think I got more offended by the reason that they were so insistent. But then I thought about it, and I was like, maybe I am an alcoholic. Like, it's not that I drink all the time. It's not that I need to drink all the time. But I really don't think I'll ever fully quit drinking. Like, I don't think I'd be capable of full-on quitting. I mean, maybe if I had a different life, maybe if I had more things to occupy my time with, and friends that did things that weren't drinking related, maybe. But I think in some sick, twisted way of saying it, I guess there would be a way of maybe classifying me as an alcoholic, because like, being an alcoholic is not being able to quit, and I don't think I would be able to actually quit. But I said the same thing about smoking, and I pretty much mastered that. I mean, like 3 cigarettes in the last 3 months. That might not be technically quitted, but that's pretty freaking good. So maybe I should take my own advice. I get offended. I should ask myself why. Because I am an alcoholic. No, I'm definitely not an alcoholic. Like, it's like I said before with smoking. You know, people can classify you as a smoker if you smoke 1 cigarette ever. Like, you know, and that's not true. You know, you have smoked, you may smoke, but you're not really a smoker unless it's like a daily habit. Like, that just, I don't know, that's my opinion. But I had somebody, I can't remember who it was like, oh, you're a smoker. I'm like, dude, I smoke like maybe 2 cigarettes a day. He's like, so? You still a smoker? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, I guess technically in some twisted, petty way, you're right. And that pretty much ended that conversation. Here they come. I made it through without getting banditoed. I think that was the same guys as last time. I don't know. Check out the view.
And I've been like, I think I'm gonna try to like not do videos until I get my head clearer, because I've been like really hazy, forgetful. I don't know the correct term. Like, I just kind of like forget entire conversation I want to say, or I'll be like completely like kind of dazed out. Like when I went shopping, I was at the deli counter and I was just kind of like staring at the meat. I bet they thought I was a freaking lunatic. I should have had like my mouth agape and drooling a little bit. I was just like, I wasn't like staring at it for like, 3 or 4 minutes, but I was definitely staring at it for longer than I feel I should have been. It's kind of like when you see someone attractive and you kind of give them the once over, but instead of giving it the once over, you're kind of like completely emotionless. It's kind of freaky. I'm sure that big loaf of turkey breast was very uncomfortable. I probably would have just like picked it up and ate it too. That turkey breast was lucky there was glass between me and it. I mean, I was slightly hungover, and it was really kind of early in the morning. Like, I kind of went significantly earlier than I usually would. I think I was there at like 10 or 11, and usually I catch the bus at 10 or 11, but I couldn't sleep, and I was hungover, so I didn't want to like just stare at the wall and be miserable. So I was like, you know what? Go shopping. Hopped on the bus. It took me like my synapses weren't really firing all that great. But luckily, the Walmart air conditioning helped with that a bit. I was still kind of zoned out. I'm almost to the public trail. I think I'm gonna eat my orange that I brought, and then call it a day. And I had, oh my gosh, there's Jesus. I'm just kidding. I think, like I said, I think that's Mary and Joseph to be technical. God. Who's technical? So, like, that's the thing about, like, history and stuff. And the good book and all that nonsense. How much can you really believe? Like, that story could have been written. Books are written of a memory or a documentation of an event that happened. You can be pretty factual sometimes. You know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm trying to go off on this whimsically wismatic dialogue, but it's just not gonna work. So I'm just not gonna bother. It's the thing that if you don't see it yourself, if you don't see it for yourself, don't ever believe it. Like, I'm still kind of on the fence about this corona crap and the war that's supposedly happening. Like, still a bit on the fence there, because no offense to the professionals, I've yet to see it. I do have to admit, when I was walking and I didn't have the camera, or I wasn't filming, there were quite a few, like, military planes that flew over. I don't know if they were running a drill. I have a military base relatively close to my town. I mean, it's very small and it's pretty far off. So it's not completely unheard of to see military planes, but there was quite a few of them. And then again, when I saw the first one, it piqued my interest because of this war crap, and maybe I just noticed the rest of them because I was already, in that mindset. So I don't know. Only thing I do know is I'm gonna be real excited to go get some food. I thought like I ate a little bit on the earlier side. It was probably like 12, maybe. Yeah, it's probably like 12, and it's almost 4 now. So I am about due to get dinner. But I thought for some stupid reason, that I'd be fine because I was still kind of full when I left the house. I just grabbed a peach and an orange, and I thought that would be fine. And now I'm realizing I probably should have just ate something before I left, or brought some more, like something with a little more meat to it than fruit. This fruit's good and all, and it's healthy, but it really doesn't last long in the old tank. Did find a piece of copper. Not much, but it's already clean. It's number 2, but it is copper. Yeah, wasn't not going empty-handed. Got about an ounce and a half. Yeah, that's my guess. All right, later on, guys. I'm almost there. I'm gonna sit and eat my orange and head back and contemplate why my life is the way it is. That's right, I'm back. I wanted to add a couple side notes, seeing that like I said, I've been completely spacey lately. I've actually seen another living human person on the trail, which I guess isn't as rare as it was, 2 months ago, but still fairly rare. It's I'm almost out of here, and that was the first person I saw. It's a little bit shocking. It did rain a little bit, but nothing to hide indoors about. Another thing I wanted to mention is, by my judgment and my analysis, I think Ludens is about 10 days old. I'm not a bird expert, but I can't see him being less than 8 days, and I can't see him being more than 12. But not a bird expert. So, yeah, no. Which, by my judgment, by my analysis, probably be about 5 days till he's able to actually fly. So that's kind of exciting. I was kind of hoping it'd be my little buddy, and I let him loose at my house. Or not in my house, but like outside, and they just chill out and, make a home somewhere near and visit. But, this ain't a fairy tale. And I didn't think of the main quote I wanted to talk about, but I did think of a side story that was a little bit interesting. So when I was scrapping, I did find something else. I found a fortune cookie. No, I didn't eat it. I thought about it. I didn't eat it. But I did open it, and I read the fortune. And the fortune said, "Impossible is only a word in a fool's dictionary." I ripped that up and threw it away, because no matter what, there are several things that are very much impossible. At least, until future science happens, and maybe, but like as I am right now, it is literally impossible for me to fly. I mean, I guess I could jump off a cliff, but that's more like falling than flying. So, I had a better quote that I wanted to kind of talk about, but I can't remember it to save my life. But that fortune cookie kind of got me, because I'm like, that's a cool little pick-me-up, but there are quite a few things that are very, very impossible. Like, I can't be an elephant right now. I can't be an elephant. That's impossible. It's really unfortunate, I know. But for now, it is very impossible for me to be an elephant at this moment. So yeah, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the end of this video for sure, because I'm about out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for any of the bummer talk and the nonsense, but I mean, it's pretty much how it's gonna be until I find silver lining or something happens, or I get some sort of worthwhile project, or find another big pile of copper or something, and then even then, it's gonna be more of me talking while I walk to go get the copper. So you know, it is what it is. I mean, when I first started this, I didn't want to be a gaming channel. And I didn't want to be one of these try-hard people that pick one specific thing and that's what they do. Yeah, I know it works. Yeah, I know if you pay enough money, you could become a big YouTuber. That wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to be more of a DIY. The King of Random, HTME, were some inspirations to me starting YouTube. There was something I wanted to say about HTME too. I can't remember what it was. It's How to Make Everything. It's a channel. They have some really, really good entertaining episodes, and they have some that are a little less depending on what you're into. But no, I am subscribed, and and if I think about what I actually wanted to say, I'm just going to tell you to check it out and subscribe too. I unsubscribed to King of Random after the unfortunate accident with Grant. I don't want to say they immediately went downhill, but I would be willing to bet that there was some changes in the production and the management of the show that took them in a slightly different direction and approach to things that made it less desirable in my eyes. I could be wrong. I'm not a businessman or into analytics, but it's just a thought I've had observing them. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but like I said, they were kind of like a reason why I started doing DIY stuff. And at first, it was really like I enjoyed watching them. And then somewhere down the line, and it wasn't after the accident. It was later on, so it wasn't like an immediate thing. It wasn't like it was him. It wasn't immediate. But it was more like I was watching it just because it was there. I was watching it because I was subscribed. I was watching it because I watched it for so long. Not because I was actually enjoying it. Not because I was actually learning anything. I was more like watching it just because, you know, I've been there for so long, I guess. Creature of habit, humans. Humans are a creature of habit. There's a lot of things that are creatures of habit, but if you really pay attention and nothing interferes, creatures are the easiest thing to watch get into a rut. Anyways, I was like, oh, this is the end of the episode. 20 minutes later, hey, I'm back. This is the end of the episode. 5 minutes later, oh yeah, by the way, I'm ending the episode. This is going to be about 2 hours long. Not really, it's probably like an hour and a half, but still. I don't know if I posted this tonight. Probably not. I'm just not feeling it. But I will edit and post this. Thanks for watching, guys. And always happy to see comments and people what's the word? Not integrating or commingling. What's the word? It's contributing to the content by commenting. I guess that's close enough. Alright, later on, guys.